Frizzy on the beat. Frizzy on the beat.
You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying a dog. You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying charge it. Ready when you're ready, you know, man. You have to just say ready, you know, man. Just ready alone, you have to say in a charge. I'm paying, man.
Ready, dog, man. Frizzy on the beat.
You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying a dog. You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying charge it. Ready when you're ready, you know, man. You have to just say ready, you know, man. Just ready alone, you have to say in a charge. I'm paying, man.
Ready, dog, man. Frizzy on the beat.
You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying a dog. You have to just talk, you know, man. I'm paying charge it. Ready when you're ready, you know, man. You have to just say ready, you know, man. Just ready alone, you have to say in a charge. I'm paying, man.
Ready, dog, man.
Give thanks and praise to the mystic laws of the universe and its protective functions and forces in nature that guide our thoughts and our path in all ways that are lawful, correct, and positive. We do give thanks and praise. Judgment, judgment, lawful self-defense. As usual, we just share some information to bring honorable clarification again. Yeah, in order for, see a better situation out there. Now we protest the public slavery we see are going. Now we say in Jamaica, self-defense is legally permitted, allowing individual to use reasonable and necessary force to protect themselves or others from threats of death or serious bodily harm. Now, there is no duty to retreat. However, excessive force, such as lethal force used when a threat has already passed, can result in murder charges. The law is based on a substantive belief by a defender that their life or safety is in danger. Now, the item can choose to apply themselves under the basic due diligent resource and research and source them information upon their own, because it's usually better when the item approach it that way. So the item discover and experience for themselves opposed to hear it from all a man like me and probably taking notes and only regurgitate. If you take the notes, just check to make sure I'm correct, and if I'm not, a next live the item can point out my incorrection so we can, correct ourselves accordingly. We don't have them kind of issue that we don't have an ego problem over there. We laugh at ourselves daily. And so we know we have come from a place where them has a low IQ, can't read dance, now get nowhere. I got dead by the time you reach 13. So at this age, boy, I just celebrate every single day in my own unique way. Truly. Truly. Now, the Charter, Chapter 3, the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. The rights protected by this Charter include the rights to life, liberty, equality before the law, freedom of expression and assembly, protection from torture, and equitable treatment by all public authorities. Now, Section 13, subsection 2 states, subject to Section 18 and 49 and to subsection 9 and subsection 12 of this section. Listen carefully. And save only, again, and save only as may be demonstrably. Let us break it down slowly. Demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. So when you look up the Jamaica Constitution, which is Chapter 3, the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedom as amended 2011, it will clearly state the Constitution, meaning the law. Everything else are what them are up on them side also, so you have to kind of be specific. Now, again, subsection 2A says this charter guarantees the rights and freedom set out in subsection 3 and 6 of this section and in sections 14, 15, 16, and 17. It goes on to say B, Parliament shall pass no law, and no organ of the state shall take any action which abrogates, abridges, or infringes those fundamental rights and freedoms which are guaranteed. Now, why them do what them do? Because of this clause was said demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Now, I have some notes on my text, so I'm going to just read by my notes, so I'm going to keep everything a little bit structured and, organized. Number one, I said the phrase, Parliament shall pass no law, and no organ of the state shall take any action which abrogates, or infringes, is a constitutional provision that protects fundamental human rights and freedoms. It means that the legislator, which is Parliament, and other government bodies, such as under Holiness Office, the executive, or even the judiciaries, the judicial, cannot pass laws or take actions that violate the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Now, number two says the phrase is a key part of Jamaica's Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms. It provides constitutional protection against government actions and laws that could undermine these chartered fundamental rights and freedom. Limiting Parliament's power. So the Charter, Chapter 3, limits Parliament power and all of these other organs' power. The restriction applies to Parliament and all state agents, all state organs. We have to be specific. Now, we have number 3, when we say the clause prohibits actions that abrogate, abridge, or infringes guaranteed rights, although this protection is not absolute and allows for exceptions that are demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. This is the strict. Now, number 4, I put it demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. This provision is also known as the reasonable limits clause or limitation clause. as it legally allows the government to limit an individual's charter rights. So when you see them, I say, you have all of these rights, them have a little catch to it, which is where them I say it has to be demonstrably justified. So them I say them can limit your right if them can justifiably demonstrate it. Now, let me continue. Number 5, we have this structure. The phrase demonstrably justified means that there must be a cogent or persuasive, that's an argument, where evidence is required in order to prove the constituent elements of a section 13 subsection 2 inquiry. This is when them have to address if them have violate the fundamental rights and freedom, and then when them must say the constituent element, that means say what kind of political attachment is there. That's why when I work with the presumption, we say be specific. A man like me, when non-political and outside of them thing, it can't apply to me probably because of such, I view it different, so I get a different clarity or express a different interpretation from where Babylon I got imposed, because then I give an explanation and nothing at all. Them just write in a legalese, and the legalese have their own legal definition for the phrase or the terms being used. So if we don't get the specific definition legally, then we're gone down the road. It's like me, I gonna say, boy, we have to can demonstrate. Say we're free when legally, demonstrably justified is a whole different, definition. It means the burden of proof is on the government entity to verify and validate cogently why them feel like them can just limit or restrict these fundamental principles which are guaranteed. So this is why you see me have section 13, subsection 2 from said charter, which is the constitution, Jamaica constitution, but the Charter of Fundamental Rights begins right there in section 13. So where there are subsection 2 where we have said, this now, them can have an inquiry, and this will generally be the case. It should be cogent and persuasive and make clear to the court the consequence of imposing or not imposing the limit. So if you don't have certain knowledge for know where the limitation is, then them are going to run past it and tell us, boy, you don't have no rights, them can just do what they want. No, they can't. Them have rules where them have to, subject themselves to. And them choose this by their own oath or affirmation of allegiance to the said constitution and its laws. Now, number 6 is wherever there is a violation of the legal rights, section 13 to 24 of the Charter, section 13 subsection 2 govern whether a violation is permissible and exempt from any remedy under the Charter. The burden and standard of proof where a violation of a legal right has been found, the burden is upon the Crown to justify limiting the right under section 13 subsection 2. The standard of proof is on a balance of probabilities. Now, with an expression like that, yeah, so now I would have liked to sit down with some of them judicator or these learned ones where acting on the capacity of justices, not even just as justices. So them supposed to have a more extensive knowledge base about laws. So yeah, some would have liked to sit down with these guys and say, the standard of proof is on a balance of probabilities. Number 8, generally, the Crown must demonstrate the justification using empirical evidence, not just, that's them assumption. Where the science or social science justifying the limitation is inconclusive, the Crown may rely on reason and logic. In cases of minimal breaches, the absence of social science is of less importance. Now, this is why we chose to challenge the authority or control of these entities, these public authorities. Them a run amok. And I always said them no know law. How can they, when they are far removed from law? Them now operate from a constitutional perspective. Them operate from a uniform commercial code perspective / bankruptcy code. So if we not invoke the appropriate legal system or the proper law, which is constitutional, then them are gonna play games. Them are gonna literally play games, and them are gonna be bad. Now we'll go back to section 13, subsection 2, where it talk about where the demonstrable justified clause is subject, which would be section 18 and 49 and subsection 9 and 12. So we can choose to look at section 13, subsection 9. Them little thing here where them kind of use as excuse for rearrange and change things. Subsection 9, we said nothing contained in or done under the authority of any law shall be held to be inconsistent with or in contravention of subsection 3F of this section. These are the rights that I'm talking about. And section 14 and 16, 3, to the extent that the law authorizes the taking in relation to persons detained or whose freedom of movement has been restricted by virtue of that law, of measures that are reasonably justifiable for the purpose of dealing with the situation that exists during a period of public emergency or public disaster. So the excuse what them are gonna try use after can only be applicable in the existence of a public emergency or a public disaster. It can't just apply on an everyday basis. And this is where the system do. It just do what it want to do because people not really look on the laws whether they and sometimes we not really comprehend. But we even read to learn how to apply it or how does it apply to these people. Because all of these things are supposed to keep these people in check, not to oppress us. So when you hear them say them can limit if your rights in any way. Them can't just do it on an everyday basis. You know what I mean? Them can only be reasonably justified for the purpose of dealing with situations that exist during public emergency. And you will hear who and what and when and how them can call them public emergency. And I like how you say Andrew Holiness just call in fictitious cabinet and make a public announcement and say, hey, we have public emergency, and send out in unlearned police for go on with a lot of nonsense. It not operate like that, not lawfully. What them do is illegal. What them do is unlawful. It's outside the law. How them apply them rules and regulations out there, because them not apply law. The difference that people. Now, B, section 13, subsection 12, we're going to look at that now. It said nothing contained in or done under the authority of any law in force immediately before the commencement of the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms, Constitutional Amendment Act 2011, relating to A, sexual offenses, B, obscene publications, or C, offenses regarding the life of the unborn, shall be held to be inconsistent with or in contravention of the provisions of this chapter 3. Now, that means that them can abrogate the rights again, limit whatever rights you have as a parent, and then can take control over your child, you know, if you're not in a sense, I don't know what I want, put it that way. However, yeah, share the information here where the item can do their own research and break it down according to, you know, how them can express it. C. Now we are look at section 18, subsection 1. We are show a little area where them are said them can limit these things or change up these things. So me are show say them little subtlety are in clause, them we use and misinterpret. Them interpret it how them want. So them can add them gay lifestyle or add, you know what I mean? But the laws is always there and the laws is clear, it don't need interpretation. Now, section 18, subsection 1 would say nothing contained in or done under any law insofar as it restricts A, marriage, so not going to restrict the marriage, or B, any other relationship in respect to which any rights and obligations similar to those pertaining to marriage are conferred on persons as if they were husband and wife, to one man and one woman, shall be regarded as being inconsistent with or in contravention of the provisions of this chapter. So probably they must say you can't just Ray with a man and man and talk about say boy on married. You just confer that person and so on married, you know, or woman and woman and so on married. Probably that they must say. But listen to the section 18 subsection 2. Them are going to bring clarity. No form of marriage or relationship referred to in subsection 1, which is this one we just read, other than the voluntary union of one man and one woman may be contracted or legally recognized in Jamaica. So we now recognize the same-sex thing. And the law may I express right here. Yeah. Now, may I goes on to look at service law. Service law means law regulating the discipline of a defense force or police officers. I'll repeat that. Service law means the law regulating the discipline of a defense force or a police officer. I'll just add that for later when we start about certain laws, once to be specific. Lawful self-defense, key principles. We are talking about self-defense. Reasonable and necessary force. You are only permitted to use the amount of force that is reasonably necessary to prevent death or serious bodily injury. Number 2, subjective belief. The key is whether the person honestly believed they were in danger of death or serious injury at the time of the incident. So if you think about your life threatening thing, then yeah, self-defense. 3, no standing your ground right. Them not no stand your ground rule here on the island, or it not really expressed in the law, but you have the right to preserve your existence. Unlike other jurisdictions like Texas and them places, Jamaica does not have a stand your ground law. However, well, them say you can, however, attempt to retreat from an attack. So if you can run, you just take away yourself. Number 4, aftermath of a threat. If a threat has passed, notice threat, because Jamaica said the people them will make some talk, I threaten, and may I express them, I say the aftermath of a threat. A threat. If a threat has passed and you then use force against the individual, this could be deemed excessive and potentially result in a murder charges or result in murder charges. And this when them say threat, and I like you have run your mouth, because if anybody have them mouth to talk, like political hyperbole, that's not a threat. A threat is when the man I say, boy, yo, have it and watch you man, I go and chop you with it, I go and slap you with it, I go and, you know what I mean? I go and throw it on you, you know what I mean? That's the threat. So now you're kind of afraid, you know what I mean? In clock the man around there, so clock the next man around there, so it look like him a line up for clock, so you have to clock him down. Yeah, man. However, you can attempt to retreat from any attack. But once you can get away, yeah, man, play it safe and take away yourself, man. All when you have your things, man, you just take away yourself and laugh and say, "Chow, I don't want that 3 point that keep you up. You disappear." Yeah, man. Number 5 say what is generally not permitted. What is generally not permitted is using excessive or unreasonable force, and using force once the threat has ended. So when I hear police, I say them unalive ones out there because one's point weapon at them, and then them will provide the weapon for the unalive victim. Then you have to ask yourself, how is it that over 200 plus people can only point and never, actually shoot at? How? Again, evidence supposed to be gathered. Once the victim having weaponry, forensic from him weapons, I got that on him body and in person. Fingerprint I got also the all over the weaponry. And if him a fire the weaponry, residue from that weapon I got bit on him hand, I got bit on him clothes. Depending on how him a shoot, it I got there up in his face, it I got there in his ear and can't escape it. a sudden thing you go. Yeah man, unless him go and go take one of them rain shower them real quick. And you know have him on the road, so you know what I mean, the evidence, you know just gather the evidence. And I'm not gonna do that. On Jamaica Island them can't afford for that. Else every single police officer, if I were 15,000, 13,000 of them, probably 12,000 of them are going to have to go into the jailhouse. That much. And them have to go start over fresh. Yeah, 1,000 good ones we might can find are good enough what we can work with. I don't like a perfection because you don't know a Babylonian system, so them are going to dance and dilly-dally. But you can't dance and dilly-dally at the expense of the people. Dance and dilly-dally and beat your own government and even help the people and make we love them and support them. But you can't dance and dilly-dally at the people and expense. And that's analyze people because you have contract with some other people where you can arrange to get the people and body parts. These things are nonsense and it have to stop. That's why we need accountability. But we never can get these things if we don't. If we low IQ and if we just read and call words and can't define the words being used. People have talked about constitution, but which one of them are really going out and break it down and say what apply to us and what apply to them? The restrictions what them are placed on us, really, it apply to them. Can't apply to you, the living man. But you're not going to know these things unless you apply yourself. But again, my information, thought-provoking, boring, so to go over people's head. But we have to present it. Yeah, man, with beauty. We have to present it. Now, again, some people have said that Virginia make up his own thing, Because no longer they ever say that, no constitution, no read like way must say nothing, no gossip. And I'll never tell the item, say, that's hashtag anyone now no judicator and tell them to refute or rebut or even basic challenge what we are set, what we are present. Go ahead. You'll get a surprise. Now, relevant legislation. 1. Offenses Against the Persons Act 1864. This statute generally outlines the concept of self-defense as it relates to the use of force. Number 2, Offensive Weapons Prohibition Act. This is our 2001, this brand new. This act prohibits the carrying of certain offensive weapons in public, which can be relevant to a person's claim of self-defense. When you're free, no man can't tell you nothing at all. Number 3, the Firearms Act of 1967. This is just after the independence. This act regulates the use and possession of firearms, which is critical to lawful self-defense in Jamaica. Lawful self-defense in Jamaica. Firearm is critical. Important considerations. 1. Legal interpretation. The application of these principles is subject to interpretation by the courts. Wow. Often relying on the facts of the specific case. So you see that? Them have to rely on the facts. Them opinion can't count for jack. Them have to rely on the facts of the specific case. Number 2, criminal intent. While self-defense can be a valid defense, the prosecutors will always seek to prove a criminal intent. Always. God, I'm a prosecutor. Number 3, it is important to note that the law surrounding self-defense is complex. Now, for advice tailored to your specific situation, I think you should consult a qualified legal professional in Jamaica. Don't come to me. I'm not qualified as a legal professional. He does demonstrate law, something totally separate and distinct from that area. Now, the Firearms Act, I'm on the classification or interpretation of firearm user. 1. Firearm user's license mean a license authorizing the holder thereof, listen carefully, subject to Section 22 and to the terms and conditions specified in the license to be in possession of the firearm, to be in possession of the firearm or ammunition so specified. Now, license means a license under this Firearms Act. Now, listen to the second user. Number 2, firearm users special permit means, not a license, a permit authorizing the holder thereof to be in possession of the firearm or ammunition specified therein within any area so specified to which Section 22 applies upon such occasion as may be so specified. So you see, you have people where have, well, are encouraged to get license for guns or for them firearm. And then you have people who have special permit, not license. That means that they're not subject to Section 22. You understand? And they're not subject to no terms and conditions. Now, the special permit, where you have to do your own research to say what it entails. Now, I, being sovereign in my capacity, is above and beyond these acts of that near element. That's why I now have to have clarity. That's why I'm able to speak this way. Right now, hey, you have a little one court clerk on the island where we record this, because them don't want me get no worry of you. So one person with us record or screenshot my information and then them have it for themselves privately and use it as seminars. That's what them do. And you have teams of people that break down what me I discuss here, but it's unbeknownst to the public. They can't afford to, expose themselves this way. So this sovereign man literally take them all back to school and bring clarity. We now change the law or rearrange the law. What we are doing express the law. What did it? Where these people are choose to ignore. We are choose to corrupt. We are choose to interpret the laws when they need an interpretation to benefit themselves. And this is the outrage. But you can't know it if you not apply yourself to express it. And it's a step-by-step process. Really. Really. Now, restricted persons. This is interesting enough, people. Restricted, number 3, because I structure this information according, as I go along. So I get a bit from here and there and break it down accordingly and put it together and then present it, Later I can just drop it in an area where the item can take it down, download it for the item themselves, and then the item can take what they want and discard the rest. But when I get grassroots, intellectual breakdown. Yeah, man. Number 3, restricted person means any person who A, listen to restricted person, is a habitual criminal, like Andrew Holmes, within the meaning of Section 54 of the Criminal Justice Administrative Act. Yeah, then can go research that and we'll discuss it, and I don't want to take up so much time. B, has any time within 5 years next before the event in relation to which the term is used. Now, 1, have been declared by a court pursuant to Section 3 to be a restricted person, or have been convicted of an offense involving violence and sentenced to a term of imprisonment, whether with or without hard labor, exceeding 3 months. Normally it's exceeding a year and a day, but in this case, specific case, it's exceeding 3 months. That means if you mess around and run down people with your machete and go on mad and crazy and thing, and then convict you and lock you away until it's a cool off about 4 months or 6 months, then them thing you now apply and that on your record accordingly. Put it that way. Now, I look for number 4. Well, let me continue with number 3 because I'll get away from this Firearms Act. Again, number 4, Section 3 of the Firearms Act, it's a court before which a person is convicted of an offense under this act, other than an offense against Section 41, or under any law in force before the appointed day in respect of the importation, exportation, possession, or use in Jamaica of any firearm or ammunition, may declare that person to be a restricted person for the purpose of this act. And that is section 3. Now, section 22, subsection 1 says the minister may, by order, apply this section to any area, parish, district, town, or village specified in such order. Subsection 2 says every order under subsection 1 A shall remain in force for a period of not more than 1 month without prejudice to the power to issue a further order at or before the end of such period. B shall be published in the Gazette, and C may at any time be varied, altered, amended, or revoked by the minister. Now, subsection 3 says a person shall not carry any firearm or ammunition in any public place within any area, parish, district, town, or village to which this section applies, except in accordance with the terms of the firearm user's special permit. Now we have to look for what that term said. Right there, we said a firearm license user. 4. Every person who contravenes this section shall be guilty of an offense and shall be liable A, on summary conviction before a resident magistrate to a fine not exceeding $1 million or to imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term not exceeding 2 years. But I think them carry to 15 years, I think them change it up to. B, on conviction before the circuit court to a fine or imprisonment with or without hard labor for a term of not exceeding 7 years. Number 5, listen carefully, where any person is arrested for or legal proceeding are instituted against any person in respect of any contravention of this section, any firearm or ammunition found upon such person at the time of their arrest or at the time of the alleged contravention of this section, listen carefully, police, shall be retained by the police until such time as any legal proceeding against such person in respect to such contravention is finally disposed. So detain, I mean execute, police. You know what I mean? Shall be retained, not detained, retained by the police until such time as any legal proceeding against a person in respect to such contravention or finally disposed. That's what the law says. Them supposed to hold them, lock them up, carry them in a court and process them. But Babylon, listen to my view and just analyze the people and share the money with my view what them contact and say them have wanted list and them have rewards. So the common commercial vending police them now just hustling at the traffic area. Them start a business where, them analyze the people and for profit and gain, literally. Because them I get reward. So them become bounty hunters now. Yeah, man. Tell me I'm lying, no, man. Tell me I'm lying. And you hear it every day in front of me, but them have to normalize the nonsense. They literally have to normalize the nonsense. Anyway, our style would us pass through share with information from our grassroots basic level. And we give thanks to the ones and give thanks to the free expression, give thanks to the perfection, give thanks for the perfect articulation. All right. Yeah, man. Salute, shout and down. Complete gratitude for passing through. My respect with honor, my love. Yeah, man. Again, with us, I say we're sovereign in our capacity, meaning we're free. Yeah, man. And our fundamental rights are absolute. Yeah. We're not going to allow the political government with them low IQ and them criminal intent. Even if them have high IQ, that's them criminal intent are the problem. Where them have put use this clause demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. You know what I mean? But we never know say it really as this is where them are limit our rights, where them out of order. Them really out of order. Or who give them kind of authority to place any kind of limitation. So this is why a man like me come forward to put a stop to this thing. You can't be a public servant with a oath of or affirmation of allegiance to serve the people well. And then you go work with some interpretation of your own clause to do what you want. I am he to bring clarity. That's it. Yeah, man. That is it. Anyway, we can tough it up. Salute Joel Jaguar. Anna McKing. Anna McKing. There. Salute the king. Yeah, man, we can tough it up because you don't know our style, Through we sovereign, we just go on with ourselves as such, Yeah, man. That's how we go on, man. And yeah, we just like it hardcore, really. Yeah, we have religious people and we have a time when we power with them and full joy, that energy and that aspect. We have a spiritual people where we do the same thing. And we don't mind our full joy ourselves with our own genre, yeah, man, our own style. Hardcore, yeah, but so we have so much low IQ people around here and the politician them create that environment there, the low IQ environment. And when them create that environment, it has said them usurp the people's fundamental rights and freedom. Literally usurp it, take it for themselves. And then tell the people and they need permission to do everything. You understand? But not where these politicians can apply to you in your sovereign capacity when you have the knowledge and you structure yourself, put some paperwork in place just to give credibility. Because them will say you have to prove what you have said. So you have to have paperwork to prove it. And not just talk it. So I just them with it. And I man is that man will bring the paradigm shift from that time. But a lot of people will look past it. And a lot of the mainlanders can attest to that. Yeah, man. And if they even mentioned Jamaica, because there was a time when the only thing where they did around here, this maroon nonsense. This maroon nonsense. The West Indian does, yeah, just get deceived. Yeah, man, and the maroon does usurp the West Indians' place. When them are come from, wherever them are come from, as Spaniards. As Spaniards. Notice them not talk like I. Literally. Just look. And you know, hear me talk like them. Yeah, no. There is a distinction, but again, through the miscegenation and the mix up, mix up, mix up, mix up, you know? Yeah. Only truth, I gotta resonate and bring forward truth. So the ones that is off truth, I can resonate with this truth. Yeah, man. And attain clarity and choose to move freely. Yeah, man. You know, move freely without clarity and accuracy. Yeah, man. And that's our kind of choose to apply ourselves. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Unapologetically. We do. We make the effort. We apply ourselves. Anyway, tough it up, Maestro Dan. Summer go on. Yeah, man. Summer go on. Yeah. I don't really have the phobia like some people, Probably through my grow up on the mainland where having a firearm is no different from having your hammer, your knife, or any kind of little basic equipment or tool in your possession. So me grow up. Yeah, man. So not because I come home where them enslave the people and where the people them have to be a certain way. It go hard for me subject myself to this or something. I can't go this. So I always pan up how I pan up. I'm a little simple man, a suffering man. Yeah, man. Create him own paradigm and just hang out in his own paradigm with a 12-mile jurisdiction, 12-mile circumference, 12-mile radius. My jurisdiction that. Yeah, man. 12 mile anywhere me there as Nestorian king. My jurisdiction that. Yeah, man. I govern this, man. Anywhere I go, my court move with me, my jurisdiction move with me. These things are unheard of, but this is law. Ask government of Jamaica, man. Ask them. Anyway,
Frizzy on the beat.
We just talking, I'm paying that. We just talking, I'm paying charge. Ready when you're ready, you have to just say ready, Just ready alone, you have to say in a charge, I'm paying, man.
Ready, dog man, real bad man charge. You coulda in a church, we no left it Glock 40. Pussy them a whole a one eye, but me tell you if you're this bad man, you have to stop party. Or even shut up in a pussy yes drum. Anywhere you see the juvie, you fi play down Waterford, Moulin, Greco Park. Put more a black man place and a pussy playground. Penis in a pussy, I'm afraid no boy way for make me run. Waterford, Blackburn, Pen, tell them straight so we never yet left we gone. Kill that ton more in Australia. No boy can box me down unless you go box my gun. Bumbo clap badness level turn to the maximum. Pull up, see drop, back, rock and pop off the freak man spot. One tree just kill him and collect and cut. Coming out the freak and truck. Shut up, shut up, sleep. Pussy take a proper scene. Lip service, badness, them got a lot of teeth. Internet bad man. Pussy made brawling round the laptop phone, drop a tweet. Penis in a pussy, I'm afraid no boy way for make me run. Waterford, Blackburn, Pen, tell them straight so we never yet left we gone. Kill that ton more in Australia. No boy can box me down unless you go box my gun. Bumbo clap badness level turn to the maximum. How would I tell this? Oh yeah. Shut up for your singles, I got blow up. I we no care where you live or where you come from. Suck your mama, cause we no want hear your story. Oh yeah. How would I tell this? Oh yeah. Shut up for your singles, I got blow up. I we no care where you live or where you come from. Suck your mama, cause we no want hear your story. Penis in a pussy, I'm afraid no boy way for make me run. Waterford, Blackburn, Pen, tell them straight so we never yet left we gone. Kill that ton more in Australia. No boy can box me down unless you go box my gun. Bumbo clap badness level turn to the maximum.